This is the Turf Zone Podcast, your central information and news hub, bringing together professionals from turf associations across multiple states to share things to help you in your business. Brought to you in partnership with our friends at the Virginia Turfgrass Council. This episode is sponsored in part by Sod, world-class service on demand. Visit us online at www.buysod.com. Now, let's get in the zone.
Welcome to the Turf Zone. In this episode of Virginia Turfgrass, we feature a member spotlight on Cindy Smith. Cindy Smith is an associate professor of environmental science and policy at the Potomac Environmental Research and Education Center at George Mason University and partner at MowCow Lawn and Landscape. If you paid too much attention to the prevailing attitude towards lawn and lawn maintenance, you might assume that environmentalism is at odds with the interests of the turfgrass industry. But one conversation with Cindy Smith may help you realize that the two actually go hand in hand. Cindy Smith's penchant for nature and living things began early. She recounts her early memories of observing insects. When I was little, I got into a lot of trouble, and my mom would send me to sit on the front stoop with my peanut butter and marshmallow sandwich. I'd watch the red and black ants on either side of the sidewalk crack and put bits of my sandwich down to create an ant war. Her early fascination with observing plants, insects, and wildlife has evolved into a gift for nature photography. She says, "You can learn anywhere, just open your eyes." That keen eye for beauty and purpose in nature has grown into a thriving career and a great impact in the Virginia green industry. As a professional who is invested in both education as a professor at GMU and in the lawn care industry as a partner at MowCow, Cindy has a unique perspective on how anyone can contribute to a healthy, thriving ecosystem. From MowCow's organic-based approach to inviting her students to more carefully observe their surroundings, Cindy is focused on public education and shifting perception about how we interact with our environment. In the lawn care sphere, defining terms is a simple but impactful tool that helps Cindy manage expectations and provide a better understanding of plants and their care. So many homeowners want chemical-free lawns. Well, even the natural products are chemicals. What they usually mean is lower input, and making that distinction is important, Cindy says. Others tell me they want to add native landscapes. Okay, that means increased maintenance. Are you okay with that? Or they want a pollinator patch, but no bees. Initiating this conversation with homeowners is key to beginning the long trek to public awareness of best practices in lawn and landscape maintenance, and the net benefit when it's done right. When it comes to her students at George Mason University, sometimes the lesson is as simple as touch, see, do. Asking students to challenge their expectations and investigate their environment in a hands-on setting provides an authentic learning experience. One basic exercise that is always eye-opening for students sets the tone for Cindy's classes. I have students walk around campus with infrared temperature sensors and measure the temperatures of the pond, turfgrass surfaces, pavers, wood chips, forested areas, and asphalt. Before the exercise, they all guess that the asphalt is the warmest. It's actually shredded brown mulch. Turfgrass is the coolest. It is this simple exercise that begins the process of changing perception. Beyond the university classroom and homeowner education, Cindy is invested in the restoration and preservation of the Chesapeake Bay. What I do with my colleagues at George Mason is part of the time I'm based at Potomac Science Center, Cindy says. My colleagues and I look at probably anything you can imagine, from the sediment on up to the surface, dealing with the Potomac River water quality. We monitor a couple places. One of them in Dunstan Cove, we've been monitoring for almost 37 years, downstream from the Nova Water Treatment Plant. So we've got the longest running story of Chesapeake Bay recovery from way back when, in the 80s, it was nasty, soupy green water from Washington, D.C. down to Quantico. Cindy's involvement in each of these aspects of environmentalism are a great foundation for turfgrass professionals to build upon. Her participation in VTC education and advocacy are a great benefit for the association and individuals. One of the largest hurdles in our industry is public perception, and while we must be united in protecting our livelihood at a legislative level, we also have to remember that this happens one homeowner, one student, one child, one company, one HOA at a time. Don't miss an episode of Virginia Turfgrass. Subscribe at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also check us out at theturfzone.com.
You've been listening to The Turf Zone. Thank you to our sponsors, including Buy Sod, world-class service on demand. Visit us online at www.buysod.com. For more episodes of The Turf Zone, visit theturfzone.com and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app.